Hello and welcome to a custom map cast. This used to be Sidolia's map called Potok. It's now Rechania Prepava. It should mean river crossing in Russian, a more accurate translation of it, because before it sounded like a drunken toddler was trying to say it. We have Jae4Jett in the southeast on USF and Talisman in the southwest, and Talisman in the northeast. And Jae4Jett insta-locking again Armor Company. He's really feeling this. He's running the 3% increased range on the utility car with 5% increased sight, the increased suppression by 5% on the 50 cal, along with 3% increased accuracy, and then Talisman at OKW, not even messing around. He basically insta-locks the faction as well. He goes special operations, and he has increased accuracy on his MG34 by 3%, and the faster reload by 3%, along with 2% faster between shots and an additional 2% faster between reload on the Volksgrenadiers. For those of you who do not know the map, as it is one of the older maps made by yours truly, Trick_TV and Sidolio, this is how it plays. We have a master cutoff for the south on the eastern base and a master in the north for the western, a secondary and a secondary, and then in the east we have two, and then in the northwest we have two. But first engagement we do have going on in the far corner of the field. We have the assault engineers going to try and close the distance against these stern pioneers, with REs moving up close and personal too. Just free damage because he knows he's going to try and focus down these assault engineers. Assault engineers doing a good chunk of damage. So are these stern pioneers though, but look at that. Stern pioneers head home. Lucky he didn't drop another model. If he doesn't drop another model here, this is a one engagement theoretically for Talisman, as it's not as much manpower bleed. He does lose the fuel as it's going to get decapped, but arguably manpower bleed wise, that is a win for Talisman. Volk squad moves up, finds the assault engineers, drops one model, and then it's going to just soft retreat on away, maybe try and focus it down. Can he get the connection that he needs? He cannot. Volksgrenadiers not interested in contesting REs, I suppose. He's opting to go around and just make the engagement a little bit longer range, but he's going to lose that fuel outright. Meanwhile, on the far east end, assault engineers trying to screen and hold off two sets of Volks. They're going to hop into this house that can't see the fuel. That's where they're headed. They drop one model from the two sets of Volks firing into them, and it's just Volks, Volks, Volks right now for Talisman. This is a lot of map pressure. Far more than Jae4Jett has present, as the two assault engineers are 280 manpower apiece. Yes, they are. And he's going to go into lieutenant, which should be here just now, and then into the utility car. So definitely the same exact build for Jae4Jett that we've been seeing as of late. Volk squad wins the engagement. That just seems like it never happened in the west, and it's going to go ahead and build some sandbags on this fuel while the REs move on to the cutoff. But it's not connected in any way, so the moving onto the cutoff here is just not really going to accomplish much, especially when they're greeted by stern pioneers and Volksgrenadiers across this river. Assault engineers moving up in through the mid. He's going to contest the master now. This will take off the munitions, the territory point, and the fuel with these assault engineer movement. So that's right where he's headed, right outside the base. And it's so amazing how close this is to the base and how often it's contested. Volksgrenadier is content with hanging out on this field, so he loses everything in the southeast now for Talisman. None of that is connected back to his base sector, and he's just going for the full cap. Here comes the utility car onto the front lines. Assault engineers closing the distance against these Volksgrenadiers and not going for the full cap. He opts to move both sets of assault engineers, and just the mere presence of them will get those Volksgrenadiers headed home. The lieutenant in that building, stern pioneers, not wanting to have to sit there and trade with that and then meet the assault engineers on the retreat path, so wisely just gets out of there before any more damage is dealt. Nice razor wire, I believe. Yes, from the assault engineers to deny the green cover on this territory point and taking the north. And that's a master cut. No resource income outside of the freebie point for Talisman now. So just really good movement from Jae4Jett again across this map. Utility car is out and marauding up into the northwest of the fuel. Well, most likely just get snared and then run away if that truck would go down. Doesn't look like it will, and then there he goes. He will retreat it. Now, what's his decision on this truck? Is it going to be mechanized? I have a feeling this is actually mechanized for him. He does get the cutoff for the south, so the fuel and the munitions on the southeast end of the map are back under the way of Talisman. But I have a feeling that this is mechanized to deal with the utility car. He has enough to do whatever he wants. Let's see what it is. It is indeed mechanized. As a removal package on the Stern Pioneers utility car, not really feeling too good about the Volks coming up and threatening the Foss that they don't have quite yet. But taking enough damage from the small arms fire, that utility car really getting bullied. He's just walking at him. This is the benefit of having 5-man squads instead of 4-man squads. He was looking to potentially hop onto that cutoff, but with the assault engineers coming around this grove of dead trees, he will wisely just retreat out before any real damage is done. And the mechanized is almost completed, so he will finally have the snares available to him. REs content on grabbing up this territory point. Assault engineers grabbing the point in the back. REs actually drop a model on the Volksgrenadiers, closing in to contest them. Volks taking a good chunk of damage from these REs. Volksgrenadier squad hanging out in the house, not really doing much. And there's the M2 flamethrower assault engineers on the back end of these Volks. So REs buying enough time for the assault engineers to get nice and close. So despite all of this, Talisman will keep that territory point under his control for a little bit longer. That last burst, though, really putting the hurt onto those Volks. Only one model makes it back to the base. Meanwhile, in the west, the utility car gets snared, and the Stern Pioneers and the Volks just trying to kill it with a small arms fire now. The Stern Pioneers might be able to kill it? Maybe? No? Oh, he needs to be walking with it the whole time now. He might not get it because he stood still for too long, but the P2 is here. Or not here, but being built. It is indeed the choice. That will be more than enough to take out this utility car. Is this utility car actually going to limp all the way back to base? It does not, and it drops a present for the Stern Pioneers, the bazooka. Grabs it up with the Stern Pioneers and heads home. And now the light vehicle control is going to be the way of Talisman, and Jae4Jett has no answer outside the bazooka upgrade on the Lieutenant. Assault engineers find 2 sets of Volks, try to toast them up as a building hub. They run in the back door and out the front to fight the assault engineers head on, and they do lose that engagement. One squad of Volks has retreated. Second squad of Volks is about to retreat here, and these assault engineers are most likely going to stay on the field with the 2 models and cap, and that might be right where the P2 heads. The P2 assuredly looking to try and pick up another wipe and secure this early lead even further with the loss of the utility car. More razor wire to deny the green cover. P2 is indeed headed straight down into the southeast. HMG squad ready for action. The choice for Jae4Jett's a 50 cal. Not so sure if that's the squad that he wants. He probably needs a Stewart at this point, or this P2 is just going to run around and bleed him as much as possible. And yeah, he needs to retreat straight away. And also the positioning that he was in with this little corner here, any missed shots on the P2, the AoE from the shell was going to deal huge damage anyways. So good that he just retreats straight out. Lieutenant, is it upgrading the bazooka? Not yet, but it's going to catch an incendiary from these 2 sets of Volks moving on to contest this fuel in the west. .50 cal suppressing up 2 squads of Volksgrenadiers. We'll use the river crossing here to hop in and across and find out that 50 cal, and the 50 cal will have to head home. And the second P2, he is just looking to close this game right now. You will find the ambulance with this too, and targets it immediately. The medics have to hop out. There's no way it stays alive. He's trying. There he goes. He hops out in time. And he's just focusing the medics now a little bit there, as it was not targeting the ambulance, but he gets his men and he heads out. Lieutenant bazooka way off of the way of materializing out of the back pocket, so not much he can do there.
We're losing a capture point.
Assault engineers. Volks REs get the Volksgrenadier to retreat off of the munitions point for Jae4Jett, but not before it's neutralized. 222, or excuse me, P2. 222. P2 firing into the house, the old wood thatched house where the assault engineers were hanging out on the southeast VP. Assault Engineers trying to make a counteroffensive up in the northwest. I don't know how well this is going to work out for them. Here's the secondary P2, and again, any shots missed here will hit the fence and deal extra damage to the Assault Engineers, especially if they walk up and just keep their back towards that P2.
Capture point is being overrun.
Another model dropped. SCG Volk's on the retreat path. He should lose this squad. I wouldn't be surprised if he did. Losing 280 manpower without the fuel would be catastrophic. Or, excuse me, not fuel, but munitions. But he manages not to lose it, luckily enough. But Master Cut paid back now. He only has 2 territory points to his name. And he will be able to move forward and just continue to apply the pressure and keep Jae4Jett in his base, honestly. I don't think he has any real way of answering these P2s. He just has one lieutenant with a bazooka and a dream. And that's just not going to be enough. Talisman reading this very well. The medic trying to fight. He's focusing down the medic, trying to kill him. Doesn't get the connections he's looking for. There's a direct connect into what looked like the calf of the medic, but the medic walks it off. It's just a flesh wound, he says, and works his way around. And Jae4Jett says, "That's enough of that. I'm never getting out of my base." And calls GG. So the strat works just fine against OST. Not so well against OKW. And just like that, 11 minutes in, it's a GG. So we'll go ahead and get on to the next one for those of you in the replay or on rerun or on YouTube. Hope you enjoyed it.